Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode here in NHL 24. So, in last episode, we had the second round of the playoffs against the St. Louis Blues, and we also had a pretty easy time just like we did in the first round as we won in 5 games, and it was a very good team effort once again, so I'm very proud with this team so far and how good they've done so far up to this point. But you can see game 1 we won 5-3, so another great offensive game. Game 2, we won 9-4, so a big offensive explosion. At that point, I was thinking our offense would dry up, but we would score 4 in the next game as well to take a 3-0 series lead. Then we lost a close one, so I kind of felt like St. Louis could maybe crawl back into this and kind of reverse sweep us, but that didn't happen, as in Game 5, we would win 5-1 and go 8-1 into the conference finals, where we're now going to be taking on another Canadian team, that being the Calgary Flames, who are 8-4 at the moment. So this should be a bit more of a tougher matchup. Like, I could definitely see this type of series going 7 games just based on the fact that both these teams had relatively similar records during the regular season. The way we win this series, I'd say, is if we contain their top line. The way they win is if they basically could get their top line just to do what they've been doing so far in this playoff run. If we look at our players' stats so far for our playoffs, you can see we've had a great mix of offense. Like, a lot of players have been helping out with the team's points, which is fantastic. So I have had no problems really with anybody on the roster at the moment on the forward side of things. And then from a defensive standpoint, I've been really impressed, especially with our top 6 pairing of Fawcett and Gustafsson. It's been very good defensively. Then you have guys like DePenta, Vandermeer chipping in with some offense as well. Kress has probably been the worst player on the roster, and he's got 2 assists through 9 games. He's +2, so he's got the lowest plus-minus and the lowest amount of points. So I'd say he's definitely the worst of the bunch, but he's still been effective when he has played. And then our goaltending numbers from Ivan Kalinin have been very good, a .923 save percentage through 9 games. So hopefully he continues that against a tough Flames team. Now, Calgary is an interesting team. Like I said, they're a very good roster. They do have a very good top line, and that's been kind of carrying them so far in the playoffs. As you can see, this top line of Afinosankov, McKenna, and Sanderson. Sanderson's got 17 points in 12 games. McKenna's got the 18 points, mostly assists because he's been setting up probably Jacob Afinosankov, who's already got 12 goals in 12 games. So we got to contain that top line. Aside from that, they do have some other guys that have been helping out a little bit, like Lowe, Wang, Marita, and Khan. But I would say definitely their depth scoring isn't as good because, like, their fourth line, for instance, didn't really do any offensive things in that first 2 rounds. And then from a defensive standpoint, Nicholas Cox is one to watch out for sure. He definitely helps drive their offense in the back end. Has 5 goals at this point as a defenseman, which is pretty impressive. And they also have some other okay defenders. Some really good plus-minuses as well, like Bernier and Bouillon, who are +14 at 13. So they definitely have some good defensive players too. And then our goaltending hasn't been the best. We are taking on former goaltender in Jaden Mills, who used to be our backup goalie. We dealt him to Toronto. He signed with the Calgary Flames in last offseason. He hasn't been the best so far in the playoffs, but he has a nice winning record. He does have a shutout as well in these postseason. And then our backup is Marcus Fedorov, who's not really much of anything. So I'm hoping that obviously we shut down that top line, because if we shut down that top line, it gives us an incredible advantage in the playoffs for sure. So hopefully we can find a way to win the series and get ourselves to another Stanley Cup final, because this is likely going to be the final season regardless. So we're just hoping that we could get another chance at another Stanley Cup. If we could win another Stanley Cup with Aiden Irving still, that would be a fantastic way to end off this series. But anyways, let's get your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we'll get into this conference finals matchup against Calgary and see if we can make it back to the finals against either the Rangers or the Capitals. So the one and only comment is from Sound Otaku. Says, it would be nice to end this franchise mode the same way as your Anchorage won last year, with an aging captain hoisting one more cup. Should you be eliminated in the conference finals, I'd say do a franchise recap episode, then one more for this year's Channel Hall of Fame inductees from here and Halifax. If there are still more open days before NHL 25, keep going with Nashville. So he's saying if there is still some days left after Nashville gets eliminated from the playoffs in my Nashville series, to keep it going basically until NHL 25 is pretty much out, like a couple days before that. And then he's saying to basically with this series, if we get eliminated here, to do a recap episode in the next one, and then we could do a Hall of Fame inductees episode who would be going to the Hall of Fame from each series. And yeah, that could be definitely an option if we do have the time, which I think we definitely would if we do get eliminated here. So I'm hoping still we don't get eliminated, because if we win here, then technically we'd have like a Cup Finals episode, and then our last episode of the series would be a recap instead. And I could do like a separate like Hall of Fame inductees type of episode. I know I didn't do a Hall of Fame inductees, I think last year. I think I forgot to do one for like Anchorage and all that. But for this year, obviously we could do some if we really want to. Because we got to think of who would be like kind of guys that we would think that could make the channel Hall of Fame. Like Aiden Irving, I'd say is a first ballot challenge Hall of Famer. There's probably some other guys from this team as well. Like Vandermeer maybe makes it. For Halifax, you got obviously like Wilm, you got Lehman, those type of guys. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up making the channel Hall of Fame if we decide to do an inductee thing again for NHL 24. But anyway, is that let's get into this matchup with the Calgary Flames and see if we can win this all-Canadian affair and get ourselves to that Stanley Cup Finals. Like I said, this is definitely going to be the toughest series we've had yet so far, because obviously the other two teams weren't super good. Actually, St. Louis was good. Actually, no, never mind. Both two teams we played before them were pretty good, because Minnesota was the defending Cup champions. St. Louis was the President's Trophy winners that knocked us out last year in the playoffs. And this year, the Calgary Flames are pretty much the closest to our actual records. So Calgary's still, I think, going to be a tough task considering they have a really good top line. But definitely, it might not necessarily be the toughest task we have, but I could definitely still see the series going 7 games just because of the fact that we've only went to 4 and 5 games in the first 2 rounds. Like, we got to have a tough series eventually at some point. So here we go. Let's get to game number 1. We have home ice advantage in this conference finals. Let's see if we can get off to a good start again. Our offense has been great so far. Our defense has been good. Let's just keep it rolling into this conference finals. First period of game number 1. 1-0 us. Good start. Will Vandermeer. So nice goal from the offensive defenseman on Mills, his former teammate. That's nice to see. Shots are 13-9 in favor of us, but it's only a 1-0 game, so still pretty close. Obviously, it would be nice to get some insurance going into the third to make it a bit more safe. Second period. 2-2. That's not a great period from Kalinin. They did outplay us because the shots are now in their favor, but Chartrand scored to make it 1-1. Bulbrook gave us a 2-1 lead, and Ty Lowe has scored for the Flames to give it a 2-2 game. So their top line hasn't came through yet so far, which is a bit scary. Shots are 25-22. It's a 2-2 game. I wish we were up 2-0, but I will still take a tie going into the third period. But the fact that we got badly outshot in that second period is not a great thing. We definitely need to clean it up a bit in the third period if we want to win this one. Come on, boys. We're on home ice for a reason. Let's give our fans something to cheer about. Let's see what happens in period 3. Who wants to be that guy for us? Power play for us. We do not score on it. Penalty kill. It's a long, long penalty kill so far up to this point. And they get a power play goal from Ty Lowe again. So Ty Lowe has 2 goals here in game 1, which is not ideal. Do we have a response to that? Come on, boys. Power play for us. We do not score on it again. And now we score. It's Bryson Waters. 3-3 game here in game 1. And we will be going to overtime in game 1. We did think this was going to be a close series. Well, game 1 is definitely proving that so far. Shots are 39-31 in favor of the Flames, but it's a 3-3 game. It's been a little bit back and forth. Ty Lowe has been their best player so far, so they don't even have to rely on their top line at the moment. But obviously, we need to find a way to contain Ty Lowe, it seems like, as well. He's definitely a bit more of a threat for that second line that they have. So, it's 3-3 game. Next goal wins. Can we take a 1-0 series lead and take advantage of our home ice advantage? See what happens in overtime. Who wants to be the hero? Come on, Aiden Irving. That'd be fantastic if Aiden Irving scored because he's the GOAT. Or somebody else on the team, maybe like Ekholm. I don't really know. I don't know who wants to be the hero for us. Maybe DePenta. I don't even honestly know. I'm just shouting out random names and hoping that we actually score. And it's to take my mind off also that we're in overtime. We're going to double overtime. Well, this is definitely a close series based on that. Shots are 51-39 in favor of the Flames. So they're running away with the shots. But we are still keeping a deadlock, which might be a good sign for us. But at the same time, we might be a little bit tired going into the next game. So hopefully we can find a way to get that OT winner. We know in second overtime that he ends really, really quickly. So I almost feel like closing my eyes and just opening them in a few seconds. But we just got to hope and pray that Aiden Irving or somebody on our roster scores that winner despite us being outshot. Let's see what happens. Double overtime underway. Come on, please, boys. Please, Aiden Irving. Penalty kill, and the Flames score on the power play in double overtime. Our penalty kill fell apart. Chartrand scores, so they had 2 goals from Chartrand and 2 from Ty Lowe. And unfortunately, we dropped game 1 of the conference finals. We got outshot 52-40 as well, so we need to get more chances if we can. But that's a little bit of a heartbreaking first game, not going to lie. Vandermeer from Bickle and Blunden, Bulbrook from Ekholm and Kress, Waters from Holmquist and Vandermeer, and then unfortunately, Chartrand's 4th of the playoffs ends game 1. Yeah, Chartrand and Lowe, actually, we need to watch out for those guys because those guys were really good in that first game. Chartrand had 3 points, Lowe had 3 points, and Kahn had 3 points. So they get offense from their second line in that one. Their top line was non-existent, really. Like, Sanderson picked up an assist, same with Afanasenkov, but they were non-existent in terms of goal scoring. So that's a little bit scary that they could actually do good against us when their top line's not doing any work. Like I said, if we contain their top line, we have a chance to win, but we contained their top line in that game, but we still lost. So that's not ideal. That's our second loss only of the playoffs, second in the last 3 games. I'm not going to change anything yet because that was an overtime loss, but I think if we lose this game, obviously, headed to Calgary, we want to make some adjustments potentially. So, yeah, let's keep the team the exact same for game number 2. I just really hope that this isn't a situation where we end up losing like 4 straight and we're done just like that. Hopefully we have a good response from our team. Like, that was an okay first game, but it just came down to who had the more shots and also the fact that our penalty kill wasn't working well enough. So let's hope that the penalty kill is better in game 2. So game 2 underway. Let's see if we could tie the series up. Headed back to Calgary. First period, game 2. Oh my goodness. Kalinin has gotten pulled within the first 3 goals of the game. And of course, their top liners have come alive. Angelo Sanderson with a hat-trick in the first period against us. Kahn picks up a goal. His line was doing great last game too. Vandermeer scores his second of the series on the power play to make it a 4-1 game. But they have 4 goals on 16 shots. This is totally uncharacteristic of our team at the moment. Oh, man. Wow, the Flames are pretty red hot, it seems like, at the moment. I mean, we are still in this game, but we need to score like 2 goals at least in the next period, and we cannot give up anymore at this stage, or else we're pretty much screwed. But Vandermeer, with goals in back-to-back games, is great, but we definitely need to contain Angelo Sanderson, especially after that first period, because he is running rampant right now. He had an assist last game. This game, he's already got 3 goals in the first 20 minutes. Shots are 16-9 in favor of the Flames, so they scored on 1 of every 4 shots on goal, which is also not a great sign. We scored 1 goal on the 9 shots that we've had. Can we find a way to claw back into this game in the second period? Second period. Still 4-1. That's like a worst-case scenario almost. Shots are 24 apiece, so we did get chances in that period, but their goaltender locked it down. We're relying on our backup going forward. Let's go into this final 20 minutes potentially, but it looks like we're going to lose both of our home games in this conference finals potentially, which means we're going to need to win both games in Calgary if we want to have a chance to get to that cup finals. But the Flames are taking over. They're taking over. Chartrand scores to make it 5-1. Damn, man. That's a really tough game. Lowe scores another goal. He had already a couple goals last game. We lose 6-1 in game 2. We are getting badly outplayed here. And this is not fun to see. Final shots were 39-35 in favor of us, but we lost by 5 goals. Our only goal is Vandermeer from Ekholm and Bickle. That is not good. Yeah, they had a lot of guys show up. Like, Lowe had another 3-point game. Oh, god damn it. Mills was fantastic for them as well. God damn it, man. Why did we have to run into such a hot team right now? Like, they're outscoring us 10-4. So we are going to make some adjustments because obviously that's something that needs to happen. So we are going to rework the bottom 6, I think, a little bit. And the PK. I'm going to take Holmquist and move him to the right wing. Move Waters to the... Actually, we'll move Holmquist to the 4th line right wing. I don't want to scratch Aiden, no. I don't want to scratch him. I'm going to move him to the left side and move Bohms to the 4th line. We'll move Varnarski up, and I'm going to take Harrison out for McNeely. So McNeely will hopefully help us a bit on the defensive side of things, because that's definitely an area we struggle at right now. So we'll get McNeely in the defensive side of things. terms of our defensive core, I don't really know what I could do. Oh, that top 6 pairing actually just got affected quite heavily in this start of the series, so maybe we want to make some adjustments to it. Trying to think what we could do here. Let's just swap Crest and Backer. And then Kalinin, so far, his save percentage dropped to a 915. But he will start next game still. I could get Kopecky in on the defensive side of things if there's anybody that's underperforming. But at the moment, the only guy with scratch is Caress, and he's too good of an overall to scratch probably. Yeah, I don't think I will put in Kopecky, but I could put him in for the next game potentially, but... trying to think of what else we want to do here. Let's go Kavusari top line. Sure. Boom. Okay, there's some adjustments. We need to play much better in the next game. If we lose even one game in Calgary, we're in a really bad spot. So, because we don't want to try and have to pull off a reverse sweep or win 3 straight games at that. So, we need to win 2 games here in Calgary, or else this series is going to be a very tough one to come back from. Currently, the Rangers and Caps are tied 1-1. I wish we would have split at least those home games, because now we're in a really tight spot. So, anyways, Game 3, we need a response. Good defensive play, hopefully like what we were doing in the first 2 rounds, and we need the offense to show up like it did also in the first 2 rounds. First period of Game 3. Okay, 2-1 us. Good start. They did score first, which is not ideal, but Bulbrook and Bickle score to make it 8-2-1 game for us. Shots are 13-10 in favor of the Flames, but we're up by a goal. So good offensive start. So far, a solid start from Kalinin as well net. Let's just keep it going forward. Let's keep adding some insurance markers, because you were never really safe against the Calgary Flames based on their amount of offense they've gotten from their offensive players in the first 2 games. So we got to be able to get insurance markers just to make it a little safer that they don't come back in these games. We know we've had some bad second periods in the series before. Let's see what happens in this period too. 3-2 us still. Okay, so they tied it up, Methought, but Ekholm has given us back the lead. Shots are 26-18 in favor of the Flames. So they're still out shooting us just like they've done for most of the series, but yeah, we're still up by goals, which is good. So far, Kalinin's pretty locked in. Our offense is doing what it needs to do, but it needs to be up by multiple goals. We can't just be up by 1 goal all the time, because the Flames could strike back easily. So we need a strong third period. Let's get an insurance marker, lock this game down, and then hopefully we can find a way to take the next game as well, if possible. Let's see what happens. Period number 3. Come on, boys, get that insurance marker. Hey, there we go. Bickle makes it 4-2 with a power play goal. That's a huge goal from Bickle. His second goal of the night. That might be all we kind of need. I would say still just get an insurance marker in case, but still 2 goals is much better than being up by only 1 goal at the stage. Final few minutes, Waters makes it 5-2. That's the insurance marker we needed, and we are going to take the first game in Calgary by a score of 5-2. This is now 8-2-1 series. Final shots are 40-28 in favor of Calgary, but a great performance in net from Kalinin as a response after last game. So Bulbrook from Crescent Irving, Bickle from Blunden and Kavusari, Ekholm from Gustafson and Kavusari, Bickle from Bulbrook and Ekholm, and Waters from Irving and Vernarski. Nice. 3 stars of the game. Kalinin the first star with that nice 950 save percentage, Ekholm second star, and Bickle the 3rd star. How good was McNeely in our lineup? Because that was his first game as a Jet. Even 0. I will definitely take that. Also threw a couple hits. Wasn't very good on the face-off dot, which is not ideal, but still definitely might have helped us out a little bit more in terms of keeping the puck out of net on that bottom 6. Harrison might come back in at some point, but for now we're just going to keep it like this. All right. So it's a 2-1 series lead for Calgary now. This is a huge game for both teams. Obviously, if we win this, the series will be tied, and then it'll be a best of 3. If we lose this, we need to win 3 straight games, which is a massive hill to climb against the Calgary Flames. So that was a pretty textbook game number 3. I think we got to keep the team the same for the next game and hope that it continues. If it continues, then hopefully that means we have a good chance at winning more games here coming up. So let's see what happens. Game 4. We're still in Calgary, so it's another tough game for us. We got to win on the road here, and then it could be a best of 3 scenario. Let's get off to a good start here, boys. First period, Game 4. 2-1 Flames. Not ideal, but we are still in this game, obviously, so that's good. But Afanasenkov and Chartrand score to make it 2-0. But Bulbrook pulls us within 1. Shots are 12-9 in favor of Calgary. We need to have a good second period here because obviously trailing after 2 periods would not be good. We need to be able to at least tie this game up or somehow find a way to grab that lead if we want to have an easier time in the third period. So don't fall down by multiple goals going into the third. That would be the worst case scenario at this point in time. So can we tie this game up going into the third? Let's see what happens. Second period. 4-3. Okay, we're still in striking distance. Lowe made it a 3-1 game, which at that point was not good. But Aiden Irving scores 2 goals to tie the game up, and an Afanasenkov gave them the lead with 1:10 left. Love to see that Aiden Irving scoring 2 goals in a playoff game at a 74 overall, though. That's fantastic. But we are still trailing, which is not ideal. So still in the same spot pretty much as we were after the first period. Shots are 24-20 in favor of the Flames. It's a 4-3 game for them. Can we find a way to tie this game up in the third period? Who knows, maybe Aiden Irving can find a way to get that hat trick and tie this game up for us. Come on, boys. Let's just tie this up, and anything could happen. We want to tie this series, if possible. Period number 3 underway. Come on, guys. We have an answer, right? Power play for us. And we do score. It's Aiden Irving. A hat trick for the old man. Let's go. That's a massive hat trick from the captain. He always has his team on his back in the playoffs. And Blunden scores to give us the lead with a few minutes left. Is that the dagger? Penalty kill? No, it's not. Chartrand ties it up, of course. For you, Chartrand. Oh, no! You gotta be joking me. That was the most roller coaster of emotions with 9 seconds left. Chartrand has given the Flames a 3-1 series lead. I hate our team right now for doing that. Aiden Irving was literally carrying this team on the back. Blunden gave us the lead, but Chartrand scores 2 goals. 1 on the power play again, and 1 with 9 seconds left. And unfortunately, we're going to fall 6-5 here in Game 4. That's another 1-goal loss. And we need to win 3 straight games, or else our season is done. And our series is probably done at that point, too, which really, really sucks. So, Bulbrook from Irving, then we had Irving from Ekholm and Vandermeer, Irving from Waters, Irving from McNeely, and then Blunden from Bickle and Bulbrook. Irving did everything he can in that game, and that could be his last game where he picks up points too, which is kind of insane. 3 goals, 1 assist. Bulbrook had 2 points, but goddamn, man. The team had to fall apart at the worst time possible. Like, who took that penalty that resulted in the tying goal? Who took that penalty that resulted in the tying goal? It was Bohms for holding the stick. If he did not take that penalty, maybe we would have won that game. Chartrand got first star because he got a hat trick for the Flames, but Aiden Irving is the first star in my books. What a fantastic potential last game of his NHL career. And then Lowe got third star. Lowe's been great for the Flames. I don't know how we're going to get back into the series. We are going to have to address our penalty kill for sure. But we should have won that game. There's literally 2 games where we could, if we would have scored 1 more goal than them, we would have won the game, potentially. Like, these 2 games could have resulted easily in wins. That overtime loss and in that one where we just fell apart. We could technically have a 3-1 series lead at that part. The only bad game was Game 2. Oh, man. We got to make some adjustments here. But Aiden Irving's definitely staying in the lineup because this could be his last NHL game. It probably is, technically, because this is probably the last game we see, or one of the last games we see of the series before we do a little recap and that type of thing. But I guess I got to get Harrison back into the lineup. I am going to scratch Bohms. He has 6 assists in 13 games, but I do not like that penalty whatsoever. That was he didn't need to do that. He just didn't need to do that. So get Harrison back in to hopefully help us out a little bit here. I'll get Holmquist onto the third line because he's a sniper. We'll put Waters as the fourth liner because he's a 2-way. And then I will probably keep the rest of this the same. Actually, let's go with that. Let's try and rework this top 6 a little bit. And then from a defensive standpoint, I think this has got to stay the same. Ooh, only a +1 for Kress now. You know what? I might honestly scratch Kress for this last game. Potential last game. So we'll scratch him. Kopecky will come in. And we'll hope that that helps things out a bit. Kalina's dropped down to a 9-12, but he will still start the next game for sure. We got to find a way to win 3 straight games. We scratched 2 of our better players for this game, but that penalty was inexcusable. And then also, like I said, I have not been impressed with Kress's defense. He's been probably the worst player on the team, so I'm hoping that he's a little bit better if we want to try and get back into the series. Is this going to be Aiden Irving's last career playoff game or career game in general? Or is he going to find a way to help this team get out of this hole? We need to win 3 straight games. It's doable, but we need to definitely pull off a miracle here. We had a very good first 2 rounds. If we could find any spark of that, we could potentially still win the series. But it's going to be a very tough hill to climb, as I've been saying. If Aiden Irving doesn't pick up any more points in this last game and we end up losing, that's crazy, though, that he went out with like a hat-trick performance. Absolutely unreal for his age. But let's get to this game. Let's waste no time. We are on home ice, and it needs to be a real-time simulation because we're fighting off elimination. Let's see what happens here. May 24th, 2043. Let's see if we could stay alive and force a Game 6. Because if we could force a Game 6, then we could maybe force a Game 7. Anything could happen once you win one game. Penalty kill here in the first period. We kill it off. I should have maybe addressed our penalty kill because I didn't do that. But scratching Bohms might have been a good thing because we won't be in the box probably as much. Because Bohms is a bit more of an aggressive player on our team. He is a grinder after all. Flames open to scoring. That's not good. When it was in the final minute of the first period, Sanderson scores a power play goal. Of course, after I said about addressing the penalty kill, I didn't do it. And then it just backfires on us. Shots 15-7. In favor of the Flames, so we got pretty outplayed in that first period, but we're still within striking distance. Let's see what happens in period 2, see if we could crawl back into this game. We just need 1 goal to tie it up, and then hopefully we can find a way to get that lead. Power play for us, we do not score on it. Still only down by 1 goal. Come on, guys. Do it for Aiden, because this could be his last career game. Sanderson makes it 2-0. Oh, no. Oh, Wang makes it 3-0. I think that's probably it at this stage. I just feel like there's no way we're coming out of a 3-0 hole here. Damn it. I thought this team had a chance to win the cup this year. I really did, but seems like the Flames are maybe the favorites. Angelo Sanderson's just been killing us. Ty Lowe's been killing us. Like, it's been a tough time. And our penalty kill has just not done what it did in the first 2 rounds here in this conference finals. Shots are 30-14. We're down by 3 goals. Can we have a historic comeback to fight off elimination? Probably not, but let's see what happens. I might intervene. Actually, I don't know if I will intervene. Marsh makes it 3-1 game. That's a huge early goal. Bickle makes it 3-2. Harrison ties it up. Okay, don't count us out yet. Don't count us out yet. 3 goals in the first 4 minutes of the third period. Do not count us out. Colin makes it 4-3. Of course he does. Come on, guys. Let's jump in here. We're going to intervene with 5 minutes left. Because we're only down by a goal now. But I wish we didn't give up that goal. Let's do the alternate jersey. Because why not? As we look to fight off elimination here. If we could find a way to tie this game up, maybe we'll get to watch a nice overtime game. That would be kind of fun. But let's start her up and see what ends up happening. See if we could tie this game up. We have a lot of time still left on the clock. We got 5 minutes. And who knows? Maybe Aiden Irving will get one last chance out there. Potentially. 5 minutes and 37 seconds left to try and tie this game up. I wish we didn't give up that goal, though, because that was a historic start to the third period. But we're only down by 1 goal. We can tie this up. I know we can. Just can't give up anything, and then we need to get our top guys going again. And we got to watch out for their top line here. Bernier throws it into Fanasenko, the Chartrand, and he scores. Why is it as soon as you jump into games that you give up goals like immediately? That could be a ball breaker there. Yves Chartrand's also been killing us in the series. They've had offense from a lot of their different players. Afanasenkov hasn't been that crazy good for them, but Sanderson and such has. That's one you don't want to give up. Kopecky was in a bad spot. Maybe I shouldn't have put him in. Damn. That's not good. Not good whatsoever. 4.5 minutes, down by 2. If we're still down by 1, we'd have a chance, but being down by 2 makes this definitely a tough game to come back in. Ekholm with the puck. Come on, guys. Just get one right back, and then we could tie us up. In it! Okay. Blunden just slaps that home. It's a 1-goal game yet again. Holy shit. Okay. Well, we're still in this. But why did we just give up a goal, though? Why did we just give up a goal? Because we could have literally just tied it up right there. What a rocket from Taylor Blunden. Absolutely crank that old school slap shot. Little Al McInnes action. I don't know what this camera angle is, just of the goalie celebrating or what, but all right. What a goal. That's a big one. That is a big one. Just 4 more minutes and we're still down by 1. We got to find a way to get one more. And we cannot allow them to get run right back. Sanderson with it for them. And he walks in and they score again. Oh my goodness. Of course we're seeing all the goals happen now. Gavin McKenna scores 27 seconds later. A fluky bounce, and Kopecky has been absolutely trashed defensively since we started watching. No wonder he was scratched, but what the hell is that? Gavin McKenna, the captain of the Flames, restores the 2-goal advantage. We need another answer right back, guys. We need another answer right back. Is this one of those games that ends 7-6 or something like that? Because if we could score 3 goals here in 3:33, that'd be insane, but why are we just giving up goals like crazy since I jumped in? Like, maybe I should have kept it in the sim engine instead. I don't even know. Here is Vandermeer. Come on, guys. We need one back really quickly, and then we could try and tie this game up. Marsh tries to throw it across, does not get through, and then he crushes Bernier in the corner. I should have known after we had an easy first 2 rounds that we were not going to have an easy time in the conference finals, because it seems like if you beat teams really fast, then you get to the conference finals, you get beat very fast. Come on, guys. We still got a minute and a little bit. Ekholm to Marsh. Marsh shoots it, and that's turned away. Blunden again. Vandermeer tries to shoot. Can't get it through. It's still in the zone. Kopecky. Vandermeer a bomb. It does not get through the mass crowd of people in front. We did pull our goalies, so they are likely going to find an empty net here. Yup, there it is. Chartrand scores. And this series is likely going to come to an end with a conference finals defeat, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, we've won so many Stanley Cups with Aiden Irving that I can't be too mad, but it does definitely suck to come up a little bit short here in our last season. We just got completely killed by specific players. Like I said, Chartrand, Sanderson, and Tylo. Those 3 guys have been really good in the series, and they weren't necessarily the guys I was expecting to do a lot of damage against us. Maybe Sanderson I was, but definitely not Tylo. And Chartrand came out of nowhere as well. He's been really, really good. Well, we're into the final 40 seconds. We'll still watch this because might as well see what ends up happening. Bickle, a bomb that's turned away. Who wants to be the last goal scorer of our team in the series? Bulbrook scores in tight. Okay, we're within 2. There's still time, but obviously it's not on our side. 25 seconds left. Mark Bulbrook gets us on the board. That probably would be his last goal as a Winnipeg Jet, to be honest. Like, if we did even one more season of this, he might be leaving in the offseason, so. But he pulls us back within 2. We'll see if that sparks anything. We probably will pull the goalie again, likely because of that. But what a crazy amount of goals here in this third period since we jumped in. But it definitely sucks that we gave up as much as we did, because we could have easily tied this game up if we would have played better defensively in these final little bit. They get a shot. Kalinin will save it. 18.7 seconds left to get in their zone 2 times and score 2 goals. Likely won't happen, but at least we get to see the boys out there for one more time. And likely Aiden Irving will be retiring at the end of this episode too, which really sucks. Come on, here we go. Bulbrook with it. We have time. We just need to put this on net, score a goal, and then win a face-off and score again. Mills makes the glove save. Of course, it has to be our former goalie, though, knocking us out, though. Seems to always happen. 9.8 left on the clock, looking to get 2 quick goals. We're not going to get it. And unfortunately, we're going to be knocked out in the conference finals to probably, I would say they're going to be the cup favorites. The Calgary Flames take us out in 5 games. Unfortunately, it was a really tough series for our team. A lot of those games we only lost by 1 goal, though, so we were pretty close to winning games, but we just could not get the last little bit of it done. Definitely sucks to go out like this, but there is Aiden Irving for the last time in the handshake, probably going to retire after this episode. Damn, man, that sucks. That sucks a lot. Definitely sucks a lot. Let me just go to instant replay here so we could see him on the bench one last time. He didn't get to play a single shift in that last little bit, but Aiden would be, where is he? He's easy to notice. Number 14. Where is he? Was he out there for last shift? He actually might have been. Oh no, there he is. There he is. There is our captain. Salute to him. Boom. Oh man, that sucks. A lot of interesting players on this team. Some of these guys would have been really good going forward, like Ekholm, for instance, Kavusari. Like, we definitely have a good future with this team still, but this team not able to get another Stanley Cup, unfortunately. So Bernier got 3rd star for the Flames. He picked up a couple assists since we jumped in. Angelos Anderson, like I said, that guy killed us. 2 goals and assist in that game. And Yves Chartrand, another 2-goal performance as well. Man, that sucks. Did Aiden Irving have any good stats in his last game? No. No assists. -1. 14 minutes of ice time. Of course, he has to play 14 minutes in potentially his last game, because obviously he wears number 14. That sucks. We'll take a look at our player stats now, and then we'll obviously say the awards and the retirements, and then that'll probably be it for actually simulating in the series. And then next episode will be a recap where we take a look at all our players that are on our current roster's career stats. We'll take a look at the record books, that type of thing. Episode after that, if I put one out, would be the players that we should induct into the Hall of Fame, but I don't know if I'll do that. I might honestly just keep that as an own separate video at some point. So maybe the next episode after this technically will be the last. We'll see what ends up happening with that, but let's just get the rest of what we need to know done with, like the retirements for Aiden Irving and such. So, in terms of player stats for the playoffs, let's take a look at our numbers here. So, Ekholm with 19 points, he was fantastic. Bickle had 18 points, he was also fantastic. He is a penny free agent, I believe, but I would probably try and hold on to him even though he's 33. Fernarski, 6 points, not too bad. Holmquist, 4 points. McNeely had 2 assists in 3 games and was +2, so Caleb McNeely was a solid little addition to help us out, but obviously a little bit too late. Blunden had 16 points. He was fantastic. Marchand, 13 points, was not too bad. Harrison on 6 points, not bad. Is a 4th-line guy. And Bohms had 6 assists, but I had to scratch him for that last game because of that penalty he took. Right wing side of things, Bulbrook on 17 points. Kavusari on 17 points. Both those guys were great. And then Aiden Irving on the 12 points. You can't ask much more out of a 74 overall. I'll come back to him in a little bit. And then Bryson Waters, 10 points. From a defensive standpoint, Stepenta had 10 points. Vandermeer had 10 points. Fawcett had 6 points. Backer had 4 points. Kress had the 4 points, but was only +1. Gustafson, 3 points, +13. And Kopecky was -1. Had a fight in his only playoff game. Interesting. And then goalies, Kalinen's numbers dropped drastically. That was probably the main reason why we lost. And then Dagenet was not very good when he did play. But I wanted to take a look at Aiden Irving because this is probably his ending. 1,330 points in his career. Absolutely unreal. A lot of great seasons for Aiden Irving. A lot of nice 50-goal seasons. 40-goal seasons. His playoff numbers, 180 points in 187 career playoff games. 95 playoff goals. He shot 14% as well. We're in number 14 in the playoffs. That's amazing. About 15.8% in the regular season. His preseason numbers, he was over point per game. What an absolute legend. And he was also a 3rd-round pick at 86th overall. And he is still signed for 2 more years. So there is a chance he might not retire, but I definitely think he retires at the end of the season if he hasn't already made up his mind. Well, the question is now, who's going to win the Stanley Cup in 2043? We'll take a look at the awards and the retirements. And then obviously next episode, like I said, we'll go through everybody on our roster, their career stats. We'll also take a look at team records. So for every team around the league, as well as our own. We'll take a look at NHL records. And I think that will probably be the last episode. In terms of doing like a Hall of Fame inductee theme, like I said, I might do something like that, but I honestly don't know too much because I didn't do one last year, I think. I think I did it before that. I did when I did my Houston series, so we'd have to do a little bit of catch up with who could make the Hall of Fame. So I would need your guys' opinions on who should make it. And maybe we'll just say who makes it instead of making it a video. I honestly don't know because NHL 25 is so soon. So I honestly don't know if it's worth doing another episode after the next one. But let's see who ends up winning the Stanley Cup in 2043. My guess is going to be the Flames, likely. And Vegas has fired their head coach, okay? And it's going to be the Washington Capitals. So the Calgary Flames did not even get it done. Hershey wins the AHL, so Washington pulling off the double, where their AHL team wins the same year the NHL team does. So that's kind of crazy. So shout out to the Washington Capitals. I honestly don't know who's on their roster at this stage, but they do beat the Calgary Flames in 7 games. So Calgary gets knocked out in 7 games. They almost won the cup, but it is going to be the Washington Capitals taking it home in 2043. Let's take a look at that Washington Capitals team, because obviously I don't think we've ever played them before. So, actually, did we play them in the Cup Finals at one point? I feel like we might have, but I honestly don't remember, because we played so many Cup Finals. But anyways, this is their team: Amir Granado, Oscar Ekman, Keaton Regier, Burns Stutzel. They also have Daniel Helms, Manny Stillman, Corey Nickel, Alexander Kulikov, Ahmed Kessel, Gail Adamski, Cameron Sharma. And then they also have Serge Lenevu and Andre Clark. Defensively, Evan Nicholas, Fred Olchuk, Joakim Kaupinen, Joaquin Cope. Oh, geez, I remember the Joaquin, or that's a Joaquin. But I remember Joaquin Cope playing on the same team as another Joaquin at one point. So that's kind of funny. Jonas Emmerich. They also have Timo Rajala. And then goalies Dallas McNeely and Kim Hedstrom. Yeah, I don't really recognize too much of those players other than Oscar Ekman. But shout out to the Washington Capitals winning a Stanley Cup at the end of this franchise mode. In terms of awards, that's Washington's first cup in the last while. We have not won a cup in quite a while at this point, but that's okay. St. Louis won the President's Trophy and it was Calgary Washington Cup Finals. Art Ross does go to Mr. Ekholm. So shout out to Ekholm for winning the Art Ross in our last season. He also did win the Hart, so Ekholm was fantastic. Vandermeer does win another Norris Trophy, so Vandermeer's got his second Norris Trophy in the last 5 years, which is fantastic. So shout out to our defender. Afanasenkov wins the Lady Byng for Calgary. McKay for Tampa wins the Calder. Granado wins the Conn Smythe. Vezina going to Christensen for St. Louis and the Jennings as well. O'Byrne for Montreal wins the Masterton. Kanko, who is Buffalo's head coach, to Jack Adams. Carolina, I don't think his name, it might be Nicholas Witherspoon, wins the Selke. Ekholm the Lindsay as well, and Orlando Mickelson, the Maurice Richard. Any AHL awards for AHL team down there? No. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. So, the final thing we got to take a look at for this episode is the retirements. And then, like I said, next episode will literally be this full-on recap at that point. So here's the draft lottery results. Not that it matters, but Vegas would have won the lottery in the final season. San Jose, Toronto, Montreal, Nashville. Okay. And the retirements. Did Aiden Irving finally decide to hang them up? He did. He did. That makes sense. Also, Michael Misa has retired. That's a pretty big one. Our former player, he was here for multiple Stanley Cup wins. So that's a pretty big player to retire at this stage. We dealt him back to Los Angeles. He's actually still really good. Like, I'm surprised he's already retired, but he was a really good player with us for many years. Won some Conn Smythes in back-to-back seasons, I think. Yeah, Michael Misa was a really important player for, like, Aiden Irving's development. So we gotta say shout out to Michael Misa. We acquired him from LA, traded him back. We got him for Kyle Connor, if I remember right. Some other good players retired. Luke Misa also retired. Luke Misa was another huge player of ours in some of our cup wins back in the day. We eventually let him go because he was asking for probably too much money. And he had a really good season in the first year in Columbus, but definitely was on the decline since then. But yeah, Luke Misa was also a really nice player here. We brought him in from the New York Rangers. He was fantastic at times. Anybody else interested in used to play for us that might have won some cups? Oh, Dennis Cam. Dennis Cam. I forgot about him. He was a first rounder in 2025. Not really much of anything for us. He was a depth forward, but he did have some solid years in Ottawa, 47 points. He was not really that bad of a player, but didn't live up to our expectations on our team too much. And that's it for centers. Left wingers, Caden Lindstrom retires as well. Caden Lindstrom. Didn't we have him at some point, or is he a different series? We did have him for a little bit. I thought so. We acquired him early on in the series as well. We also moved him out quite early, but he eventually started to break out a little bit, but he wasn't a huge point guy in the series, but he still was on this team for a little bit. Never won a cup with us, though. Then we also have anybody else that I recognize. Callie Markstrom, I don't think ever played for us, but I do remember him. Right wing side of things, there it is, though. We got to salute our prince, Aiden Irving. That sucks, man. That sucks. That's a substantial one. It's very substantial. 1,330 points for our captain. Salute the prince. Well, Aiden, I don't know why I made you number 13 in the AHL, but number 14 will definitely go up to the rafters for this channel for a long time. Consta Helenius, wasn't he with us too at one point? I feel like we acquired him early on in the series. Right? Yeah, we did. He was actually really good with us too, for that matter. Definitely not as good since leaving us. Actually, he did have okay seasons, but shout out to Consta Helenius. Kind of crazy how much former players are actually retiring this season. Okay, and then in terms of defenders, any former defensemen that I remember at least? Not really. Yeah, I don't recognize any of these guys so far that used to play for us. Goalies. Bernard Laserte has retired after winning the Vezina a couple years back. Fedorov, who was on Calgary, just retired as well. Huh, okay. So in terms of all players, though, losing Misa and Irving, or not losing Misa, but Misa retiring the same year as Irving, like, I would not script that any better. Those two deserve to retire together in a sense, so shout out to all those guys, Misa, Irving, and Luke Misa. And then Helenius, I guess, as well, and all that type of thing. But there it is. Those guys have retired. Coach retirement. Did we lose any coaches this season? Not that it really matters. We did lose Holloway. And we also lost Benjamin Kidd. So that is that. And final thing we got to do to wrap up this episode is, I guess we'll take a look, even though it doesn't matter because we're not doing another season, is progress reports. Curious on if there's anybody else that was on the drop-off at all. Looks like most people are on statistical and normal growth. Looks like nobody dropped off in the NHL, really. And we're getting some good growth from guys in the system, but obviously that doesn't matter at this stage. So, there is that. And yeah, next episode, we're going to be looking at every one of these players on a roster and seeing their career stats. Unfortunately, we aren't going to see Marsh's career as it develops, but obviously we know he would be really good. But going to be interesting to see all these guys' career stats with us. We'll take a look at player stats around the league, see if there's any former players that are still playing as well, because there could be some other guys that used to play with us that are still kicking around. And then we'll also take a look at the record book, because that'll be a lot of fun. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Winnipeg Jets franchise mode. So next episode, finale recap, we'll look at every player, like I said, on a roster. We'll look at for former players as well, like if there's Eberle still out there, Jaqueezy still out there. We'll look for their stats and see how good their numbers have been after leaving us and what their career stats look like. And then we'll take a look at the record book for every team around the league, our own stats, the NHL as well, and kind of just wrap up this franchise mode. But definitely sucks to lose in the conference finals, I would say, but at the same time, with the amount of cups that we won, Aiden Irving was probably one of the most decorated captains in NHL history based on the amount of cups that he did win. So let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.